Yakuza are regarded as semi-legitimate organizations. For example, immediately after the 1995 Kobe earthquake, the Yamaguchi-gumi Yakuza group, who are based in the area, mobilized to provide disaster relief services, including the use of a helicopter. Media reports contrasted this rapid response with the much slower pace at which the Japanese government's official relief efforts took place. The Yakuza repeated their aid after the 2011 Noku earthquake and tsunami, with groups opening their offices to refugees and sending dozens of trucks with supplies to affected areas, see below. For this reason, many Yakuza regard their income and hustle, shinaji, as a collection of a feudal tax. The Yakuza and its affiliated gangs control drug trafficking in Japan, especially methamphetamine 38, while many Yakuza syndicates, notably the Yamaguchi-gumi, officially forbid their members from engaging in drug trafficking. Some other Yakuza syndicates, like the Dojinkai, are heavily involved in it. Some Yakuza groups are known to deal extensively in human trafficking. In the Philippines, Yakuza trick girls from impoverished villages into coming to Japan by promising them respectable jobs with good wages. Instead, they are forced into becoming sex workers and strippers. The Kabukicho district of Shinjuku has historically been known as a popular Yakuza hangout in Tokyo. Yakuza frequently engage in a unique form of Japanese extortion known as skiya. In essence, this is a specialized form of protection racket. Instead of harassing small businesses, the Yakuza harasses stockholders meeting of a larger corporation. Yakuza operatives obtain the right to attend by making a small purchase of stock, and then at the meeting physically intimidate other stockholders. Yakuza also have ties to the Japanese real estate market and banking sector through jəઃkụżə. Jəઃkụżə specializes in inducing holders of small real estate to sell their properties so that estate companies can carry out much larger development plans. The Japanese bubble economy of the 1980s is often blamed on real estate speculation by banking subsidiaries. After the collapse of the property bubble, a manager of a major bank in Nagoya was assassinated, prompting much speculation about the banking industry's indirect connection to the Japanese underworld. Yakuza often take part in local festivals such as Sanya Matsuri, where they often ride the shrine through the streets proudly showing off their elaborate tattoos. Yakuza have been known to make large investments in legitimate, mainstream companies. In 1989, Susumu Ishii, the Oyabun of the Inagawa-kai, a well-known Yakuza group, bought $255 million worth of Tokyo Kyoko Electric Railways stock. Japan's Securities and Exchange Surveillance Commission has knowledge of more than 50 listed companies with ties to organized crime, and in March 2008, the Osaka Securities Exchange decided to review all listed companies and expel those with Yakuza ties. As a matter of principle, theft is not recognized as a legitimate activity of Yakuza. This is in line with the idea that their activities are semi-open. Theft by definition would be a covered activity. More importantly, such an act would be considered a trespass by the community. Yakuza also usually do not conduct the actual business operation by themselves. Core business activities such as merchandising, loan sharking, or management of gambling houses are typically managed by non-Yakuza who pay protection fees for their activities. Numerous pieces of evidence tie Yakuza to international criminal activity. There are many tattooed Yakuza imprisoned in various Asian prisons for drug trafficking, arms smuggling, and other crimes. In 1997, one verified Yakuza member was caught smuggling 4 kilograms, 8.82 pounds, of heroin into Canada. Because of their history as a legitimate feudal organization and their connection to the Japanese political system through the Uyoku dantai, extreme right-wing political groups, Yakuza are somewhat a part of the Japanese establishment, with 6 fan magazines reporting on their activities. Yakuza involvement in politics functions similarly to that of a lobbying group, with them backing those who share in their opinions or beliefs. One study found that 1 in 10 adults under the age of 40 believed that the Yakuza should be allowed to exist. In the 1980s in Fukuoka, a large conflict between the Yamaguchi-gumi and Dojinkai groups known as the Yamaichi War spiraled out of control, and civilians were hurt. The police response was to mediate and force the Yakuza bosses on both sides to publicly declare a truce. At various times, people in Japanese cities have launched anti-Yakuza campaigns, with mixed success. In March 1995, the Japanese government passed the Act for Prevention of Unlawful Activities by Criminal Gang Members, which made traditional racketeering much more difficult. Beginning in 2009, led by agency chief Takaharu Ando, Japanese police began to crack down on the gangs. Kodokai chief Kiyoshi Takayama was arrested in late 2010. In December 2010, police arrested Yamaguchi-gumi's alleged No. 3 leader, Tadashi Iri. According to the media, encouraged by tougher anti-Yakuza laws and legislation, local governments and construction companies have begun to shun or ban Yakuza activities or involvement in their communities or construction projects. 46 laws were enacted in Osaka and Tokyo in 2010 and 2011 to try to combat Yakuza influence by making it illegal for any business to do business with the Yakuza. On August 24, 2021, Nomura Satoru became the first Yakuza boss to be sentenced to death. Nomura was involved in 1 murder and assaults of 3 people. The presiding judge Adachi Ben of the Fukuoka District Court characterized the murders as extremely vicious attacks. Yakuza's aid in Thoku catastrophe. Following the Thoku earthquake and tsunami on March 11, 2011, the Yakuza sent hundreds of trucks filled with food, water, blankets, and sanitary accessories to aid the people in the affected areas of the natural disaster. CNN Mexico said that although the Yakuza operates through extortion and other violent methods, they moved swiftly and quietly to provide aid to those most in need. United States. The presence of individuals affiliated with the Yakuza in the United States has increased tremendously since the 1960s, and although much of their activity is concentrated in Hawaii, they have made their presence known in other parts of the country, especially in Los Angeles and the San Francisco Bay Area, as well as Seattle, Las Vegas, Arizona, Virginia, Chicago, and New York City. 5152 The Yakuza are said to use Hawaii as a midway station between Japan and mainland America, smuggling methamphetamine into the country and smuggling firearms back to Japan. They easily fit into the local population, since many tourists from Japan and other Asian countries visit the islands on a regular basis, and there is a large population of residents who are of full or partial Japanese descent. They also work with local gangs, funneling Japanese tourists to gambling parlors and brothels. 51. In California, the Yakuza have made alliances with local Korean gangs as well as Chinese triads and Vietnamese gangs. The Yakuza identified these gangs as useful partners due to the constant stream of Vietnamese cafe shootouts and home invasion burglaries throughout the 1980s and early 1990s. In New York City, they appear to collect finder's fees from Russian, Irish, and Italian gang members and businessmen for guiding Japanese tourists to gambling establishments, both legal and illegal. Handguns manufactured in the U.S. account for a large share, 33%, of handguns seized in Japan, followed by handguns manufactured in China, 16%, and in the Philippines, 10%. In 1990, a Smith & Wesson .38 caliber revolver that cost $275 in the US could sell for up to $4,000 in Tokyo. In 2001, the FBI's representative in Tokyo arranged for Tadamasa Goto, the head of the group Goto Gumi, to receive a liver transplant at the UCLA Medical Center in the United States, in return for information of Yamaguchi-gumi operations in the U.S. This was done without prior consultation of the NPA. The journalist who uncovered the deal received threats from Goto and was given police protection in the U.S. and in Japan. The FBI suspects that the Yakuza were using various operations to launder money in the U.S. as of 2008. Asia, outside Japan. The Yakuza have engaged in illegal activities in Southeast Asia since the 1960s, they are working there to develop sex tourism and drug trafficking. This is the area where they are still the most active today. In addition to their presence in Southeast Asian countries such as Thailand, the Philippines, and Vietnam, Yakuza groups also operate in South Korea, China, Taiwan, and in the Pacific Islands, mainly Hawaii. Yakuza groups also have a presence in North Korea. In 2009, Yakuza Yoshiaki Sawada was released from a North Korean prison after spending 5 years there attempting to bribe a North Korean official and smuggle drugs. Constituent members. According to a 2006 speech by Mitsuhiro Suganuma, a former officer of the Public Security Intelligence Agency, around 60% of Yakuza members come from bōryokudan, the descendants of a feudal outcast class, and approximately 30% of them are Japanese-born Koreans, and only 10% are from non-bōryokudan Japanese and Chinese ethnic groups. Bōryokudan. The bōryokudan is a group that Japanese society socially discriminates against, and its recorded history goes back to the Heian period in the 11th century. The bōryokudan are the descendants of outcast communities which originated in the pre-modern, especially the feudal era, mainly those people with occupations which are considered tainted because they are associated with death or ritual impurity, such as butchers, executioners, undertakers, or leather workers. They traditionally lived in their own secluded hamlets and villages away from other groups. According to David E. Kaplan and Alec Dubrow, bōryokudan account for about 70% of the members of Yamaguchi-gumi, the largest Yakuza syndicate in Japan. Ethnic Koreans. While ethnic Koreans make up only 0.5% of the Japanese population, they are a prominent part of Yakuza because they suffer discrimination in Japanese society along with the bōryokudan. In the early 1990s, 18 of 90 top bosses of Inagawakai were ethnic Koreans. The Japanese National Police Agency suggested Koreans composed 10% of the Yakuza proper and 70% of bōryokudan in the Yamaguchi-gumi 59. Some of the representatives of the designated boṛyokudan are also Koreans. 61. The Korean significance had been an untouchable taboo in Japan, and one of the reasons that the Japanese version of Kaplan and Dubrow's Yakuza, 1986, had not been published until 1991 with the deletion of Korean-related descriptions of the Yamaguchi-gumi. Japanese-born people of Korean ancestry who retain South Korean nationality are considered resident aliens and are embraced by the Yakuza precisely because they fit the group's outsider image. Notable Yakuza of Korean ancestry include Hisayoki Makii, the founder of the Tozeikai, Tokutaro Takayama, the head of the fourth-generation Izuka Tetsukai, Jiro Kieda, 1940, the head of the fifth-generation Inagawakai, Shinichi Matsuyama, 1927, the head of the fifth-generation Kyakudo-kai, and Hirofumi Hashimoto, 1947, the founder of the Kyakushin Rengo-kai, affiliated with Yamaguchi-gumi, dissolved in 2019. Indirect enforcement. Since 2011, regulations outlawing business with Yakuza members, government-ordered audits of Yakuza finances, and the enactment of Yakuza exclusion ordinances have hastened a decline in Yakuza membership. The Financial Services Agency ordered Mizuho Financial Group, Inc. to improve compliance and that its top executives report by October 28, 2013 what they knew and when about a consumer credit affiliate found making loans to crime groups. On top of the already staggering anti-Yakuza legislation, Japan's younger generation may be less inclined to gang-related activity, as modern society has made it easier especially for young men to gain even semi-legitimate jobs such as ownership in bars and massage parlors and pornography that can be more profitable than gang affiliation, all while protecting themselves by abiding by the strict anti-Yakuza laws. Citizens who take a stronger stance, however, seem to also have taken action that does not lead to violent reactions from the Yakuza. In Kyushu, although store owners initially were attacked by gang members, the region has reached stability after local business owners banned known Yakuza and posted warnings against Yakuza entering their premises. Additional regulations can be found in a 2008 anti-Yakuza amendment which allows prosecutors to place the blame on any Yakuza-related crime on crime bosses. Specifically, the leader of the Yamaguchi-gumi has since been incarcerated and forced to pay upwards of 85 million yen in damages of several crimes committed by his gangsters, leading to the Yakuza's dismissal of around 2,000 members per year, albeit, some analysts claim that these dismissals are part of the Yakuza's collective attempt to regain a better reputation amongst the populace. Regardless, the Yakuza's culture, too, has shifted towards a more secretive and far less public approach to crime, as many of their traditions have been reduced or erased to avoid being identified as Yakuza 64. Yakuza organizations also face pressure from the U.S. government. In 2011, a federal executive order required financial institutions to freeze Yakuza assets, and as of 2013, the U.S. Treasury Department had frozen about $55,000 of Yakuza holdings, including 2 Japan-issued American Express cards. Yakuza in society. The Yakuza have had mixed relations with Japanese society. Despite their pariah status, some of their actions may be perceived to have positive effects on society. For example, they stop other criminal organizations from acting in their areas of operation. 67 Unreliable source. They have been known to provide relief in times of disaster. These actions have at times painted Yakuza in a fairly positive light within Japan. The Yakuza also attract membership from traditionally scorned minority groups, such as the Korean Japanese. However, gang wars and the use of violence as a tool have caused their approval to fall with the general public. Film. Main article, Yakuza film. Poster for the 1948 Akira Kurosawa film Drunken Angel, a Yakuza Eiga genre film. The Yakuza have been in media and culture in many different fashions. Creating its own genre of movies within Japan's film industry, the portrayal of the Yakuza mainly manifests in one of 2 archetypes. They are portrayed as either honorable and respectable men or as criminals who use fear and violence as their means of operation. 71 movies like Battles Without Honor and Humanity and Dead or Alive portray some of the members as violent criminals, with the focus being on the violence, while other movies focus more on the business side of the Yakuza. The 1992 film Minbo, a satirical view of Yakuza activities, resulted in retaliation against the director, as real-life Yakuza gangsters attacked the director Juzo Itami shortly after the release of the film. Yakuza films have also been popular in the Western market with films such as the 1975 film The Yakuza, the 1989 film Black Rain and the Punisher, the 2005 film Into the Sun, 2013's The Wolverine, 2018 film The Outsider, and Snake Eyes in 2021. Television. The Yakuza feature prominently in the 2015 American dystopian series The Man in the High Castle. They are also the basis for the 2019 BBC TV series Giri/Haji, which features a character whose life is put in danger after he comes under suspicion for a murder tied to the Yakuza. The 2022 HBO Max series Tokyo Vice explores the dealings of the Yakuza from the perspective of an American reporter Jake Adelstein. Video games. The video game series Like a Dragon, formerly known as Yakuza outside of Japan, launched in 2005, portrays the actions of several different ranking members of the Yakuza, as well as criminal associates such as dirty cops and loan sharks. The series addresses some of the same themes as the Yakuza genre of film does, like violence, honor, politics of the syndicates, and the social status of the Yakuza in Japan. The series has been successful, spawning sequels, spin-offs, a live-action movie and a web TV series. Grand Theft Auto 3 features a Yakuza clan that assists the protagonist in the second and third act after they cut their ties with the Mafia. The Yakuza derive most of their income from a casino, Kenjis, and are currently fighting to keep other gangs from peddling drugs in their territory while seeking to protect their activities from police interference. Towards the end of the third act, the player assassinates the leader of the clan, and the other members are later executed by Colombian gangsters. In Grand Theft Auto III's prequel, Grand Theft Auto: Liberty City Stories, the Yakuza play a major role in the storyline. In Grand Theft Auto: Vice City, the Yakuza are mentioned, presumably operating in Vice City. Hitman 2: Silent Assassin features a mission set in Japan that sees Agent 47 assassinating the son of a wealthy arms dealer during his dinner meeting with a Yakuza boss at his private estate. A mission in the 2016 game, Hitman, set at a secluded mountaintop hospital, features a notorious Yakuza lawyer and fixer as one of 2 targets to be assassinated. Manga, anime, and television dramas. Stop! Hibari-kun, manga, 1981–1983, anime, 1983–1984. The story focuses on Keiseiku Sakamoto, a high school student who goes to live with Yakuza boss Iberi Zora and his 4 children Tsugami, Tsubame, Hiberi, and Suzume after the death of his mother. Keiseku is shocked to learn that Hiberi, who looks and behaves as a girl, is male. Gokusen, manga, 2000, drama, 2002, 2005 and 2008, and anime, 2004. The heiress of a clan becomes a teacher in a difficult high school and is assigned a class of delinquents, the 3D. She will teach them mathematics, while gradually getting involved in several other levels, going so far as to get her students out of a bad situation by sometimes using her skills as heir to the clan. My Boss My Hero, film stock, 2001, drama, 2002. A young gang leader, who seems to be too stupid to do his job, misses a big deal because he cannot count correctly, and on the other hand, is practically illiterate. In order to access the succession of the clan, his father then forces him to return to high school, to obtain his diploma. He must not reveal his membership in the Yakuza, under penalty of being immediately excluded. Twittering Birds Never Fly, manga of the shonen AI genre, 2011. Yashiro, a totally depraved masochist, boss of a Yakuza clan and the Shinsei Finance Company, hires Shikara Donki, a secretive and not very talkative man, as his bodyguard. While Yashiro would like to take advantage of Donki's body, the latter is helpless. Like the Beast, manga, YAOI, 2008. Tomoharu Ueda, a police officer in a small local post, meets Aki Godada, son of the leader of a Yakuza clan, in pursuit of an underwear thief. The next morning, Aki shows up at his house to thank him for his help and finds himself making a declaration of love for him. Taken aback, Ueda replies that it is better that they get to know each other, but that's without counting Aki's stubbornness, ready to do anything to achieve his ends. Odd Taxi, anime, manga, 2021. A taxi driver becomes entangled in the rivalry of competing kobun and uses his position to undermine the local Yakuza organization. Several manga by Ryoichi Ikegami are located in the middle of the Japanese underworld. Sanctuary, 1990. Hojo and Asami, childhood friends, have only one goal: to give the Japanese back a taste of life, and to shake up the country. For this, they decide to climb the ladder of power, one in the light, as a politician, the other in the shadows, as Yakuza. Heat, 1999. Tatsumi Karasawa is the owner of a club in Tokyo who plans to expand his business. He gives a hard time not only to the police but also to the Yakuza, of which he manages, however, to rally a certain number at his side. Nisekoi, 2014. Nisekoi follows high school students Raku Ichijo, the son of a leader in the Yakuza faction Shuigumi, and Kaidoji Kirisaki, the daughter of a boss in a rival gang known as Mukikonkai. If you like this video, please like, comment about your thoughts on this, subscribe and click the bell icon for further notifications.